So today I want to share with you guys how much I got paid out in dividends for the month of July. We're also going to look into some new companies to add into our portfolio like we've been doing every single week. I'm super excited to show you guys. And of course, I'm going to show you guys my overall M1 Finance portfolio, well, dividend portfolio for the most part. So that way you guys can kind of see somebody else doing it in real time, especially getting started from the beginning, because there are other videos out there and other channels where, you know, they're sharing their stories, which is awesome, but their portfolios are so much larger. So hopefully this kind of gives you guys some insight on kind of just getting started from the bottom and moving your way forward. So with that being said, let's go ahead and actually load up the screen here so you guys can see my portfolio. Now, normally what we do here on the channel, if you're new here, we actually love talking about ways to save money, earn money, and also invest money like this video here today. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and also tap on that bell to get notified with new videos coming out. So here we jumped onto the M1 Finance portfolio, and as you can see, our current value with our overall portfolio is sitting at $281.60. So not so great for the day. We were down by 19 cents. For the week, we are up $1.79. The month, we are up $5.38. Quarter, we are up $8.89. And for year to date, we're actually up $22.39. So I'm super excited with how the portfolio is performing so far. Now, of course, we are working on dividends. That's kind of our main focus. I don't know if I've actually talked about this before in previous videos, but a big portion of my goal when it comes to dividend investing is so that way I can earn an income from this, like a really steady income. Somewhere around the ballpark of a couple $1,000s every single month to be able to live off of if I so chose. Now, I'm gonna have other streams of income coming in around that time as well, so this won't be the only form of income, but I do want this to be kind of just an addition to what I'm already gonna be making down the road, because right now with this small of a portfolio, of course, we're not going to have a massive income when it comes to dividends, which I know, you'll see here when it comes to how much I made in July. But there's a good reason for this video, and I really want to make this video as a reference point for down the road when, 2-3 years later, I'm making these videos and I'm showing you guys how much I'm getting paid out, which hopefully can be a couple hundreds, if not 1,000 or plus more every single month in dividends. And then there's going to be people in the comments saying, oh, well, he just got there because he had a lot of money in it all at once. Well, here's proof that, this is getting started from ground zero, where I'm just having a very little bit of money invested to be able to get to a point where down the road, I'm making $800+ every single month in dividends. So if you're watching this from years down the road, thank you so much for coming back and checking this out. If you are here watching when this video does release, thank you so much for supporting me at the get-go, because I know sometimes people don't like to follow along unless somebody has a big following. So you guys are the real OGs, being here before we even hit 100,000 subscribers. So with all of that being said, I'm gonna show you guys how much we made in dividends for the month of July. So I'm gonna go into my activities feed here. You can kind of see it there. I'm gonna hit dividends only. So for the month of July, we got paid 4 different dividends. So I got my first one right over here on July 2nd from my VOO fund, which is my Vanguard fund. So this one's not an individual company. In case you're not aware, this is kind of like, it's an ETF that has a whole bunch of companies together. I got paid 80 cents out from that one. Then on the 15th of July, I got paid out from ticker number O, which is Realty Income. I got paid a nickel from that one, which is awesome. Now, the next one is on July 25th from DIS, which is Disney. I got paid out 7 cents. They only pay out twice a year, which is a little sad, but no worries, because it's still a decent dividend payout there. And then the very next day on July 26th, I got paid out from NRZ, a whopping 47 cents. So altogether, we got paid out a total of $1.39 in dividends for the month of July. Now, of course, this is nowhere near enough to be able to live off of. I mean, I can get maybe half of an In-N-Out burger with this money if I wanted to, but of course, I'm reinvesting this money into future funds so that way I can earn more down the road and have those dividends pay me out a lot more later on. So hopefully this kind of gets people excited to kind of see the starting point, and then, if I have future videos where I'm making hundreds every single month, you guys can kind of see that growth and not just like the end point where people are making a really good sum of money. Now, as I mentioned, I will be reinvesting these dividends as I have been so far, so that way they just go back in and continue to grow and grow. So before we continue on, let me know if you are a dividend investor, how much did you get paid out in July for dividends? Put those in the comments down below if you are willing to share. I like to hear from you guys. And really quick, if you are interested in getting started with M1 Finance as an investing platform, I'm gonna go ahead and leave my link in the show notes down below. Now that link does help support this channel and me continuing to make videos like this one for you guys. And the nice thing is, if you have any questions when it comes to M1 Finance, go ahead and always leave them in any of these investing videos, or you can send me a direct email so that way I can help you answer any questions you might have. All right, so let's go ahead and show you how our $10 got spread out throughout the different funds from last week. We added 10 bucks and that was able to buy 5 different funds. Because we do fractional sharing, sometimes, it doesn't use up all the $10. So if we go into here, we're gonna see that we ended up buying, of course, Clorox at $3.28. A penny did go into Realty Income. We had $3.38 go into McCormick. 4 cents went into Waste Management, and then $3.28 went into Church & Dwight Company. So the Church & Dwight, McCormick, and the Clorox were what we added last week, and then the other two, had just a couple of cents go into them based off of the fractional sharing, which is what I personally love the most about M1 Finance. So that's how our 10 bucks went into last week. Super exciting because we also opened up our consumer product fund right over here, which is where all 3 of the funds went into from last week. And then I'm gonna be adding in 2 different companies in this week as well. So these ones you're definitely gonna know as well. So this one is going to be in our consumer fund here. So if I kind of go into here and check it out, our consumer fund is consisted of right now Disney, Home Depot, Tesla, and Ross. I'm super excited about Ross. If you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, I was sharing with you guys my thoughts on it. It's already up 4.21%, and I just added it like a couple of weeks ago too. So I'm excited to add more money into that fund and continue it to grow. But we're gonna go ahead and add 2 more funds into here. So we're gonna hit edit. And now we're gonna go ahead and add to this portfolio. So we're gonna be adding Costco, which most of you guys are very aware of. Now, Costco doesn't have a very great yield when you just look at the percentage. It's 0.93. And one thing I've mentioned about this before is, I'm telling you guys about the dividend yield from this point of view. I do a lot of extensive research before making these videos on what I'm going to invest in, but I might make a video in the future kind of breaking down how I look into funds. I just want to be very cautious with that type of video. But overall, there's a lot of different things I look into. And one of the sites I personally like to use a lot when it comes to gathering more information with these funds is, of course, Seeking Alpha. I mentioned it before on my previous videos. They have so much great insight and information for me to be able to go through and read about. People write articles. There's a lot of different news sources. So if I want to keep up on the latest on what's going on with those companies, there's some great insight there. So I personally really, really like that website. And I think it helps me out make decisions on what I want to go with. But there's a lot of insight, not just, the market cap that you see here or the PE ratio or the dividend yield. Those are just some of the basic informations. There's a lot more on the back end that you want to check out too. So always keep that in mind. And then also too, keep in mind that of course I am not a financial advisor. So always do your extra research when choosing stocks. These are different companies that I'm comfortable with investing in because I've done the research for them and I know my own personal risk tolerance. So everyone's is a little different. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and add them to the card as you guys saw. And then the other one I'm gonna add, you guys definitely know this one as well, is Target. So we're gonna add Target on here. They have a dividend yield of 3.03%. So between Target and Costco, they're gonna kind of balance out a little bit there when it comes to the dividend yield. But as I mentioned before too, I'm always looking for companies that have also good growth opportunity for the next couple of years. Because as great as having a 3 to 4% dividend yield, you also want to make sure that the company is going to be there for the long term and have potential to continue to grow and not decline. So Target's going to be one of these companies that has a good dividend yield, but also has good potential for the next couple of years. So we're going to go ahead and add these to this pie here. All right, so now we have Target and Costco into our consumer pie. Now I have to switch up the percentages so it all works properly here for us. So I know I'm gonna lower Home Depot a little bit here, probably to about 15%. And then I gotta lower some of these other ones as well too. I think Disney, this is really tough to have to lower these percentages overall. But we always of course had to do it to equal out 100%. I think I'm gonna have these ones at 10% each. So I need another 10% from these companies. So I'll do 20 and I'll do 20%. So Tesla's still gonna stay at 25%. Ross and Disney are gonna be at 20% of my overall pie here. Home Depot is gonna be 15, and then Target and Costco are both gonna be 10. I can change those up as I see fit over time, but I think that's where I'm gonna keep them for now. All right, so once we do that, we're gonna hit save, and then it's gonna update the consumer pie. So we're gonna confirm that. So now this is gonna look all super funky here because we have, of course, Home Depot is way out of proportion from their original percentage. And then of course, Costco and Target don't even have anything in their portfolio, so they're well under funded there. So one thing I do want to keep in mind for those who might be a little bit more newer to M1 Finance, when this pie kind of starts looking like this, as I mentioned, you might be a little enticed to hit that rebalance button because it'll kind of make everything look nice, but keep in mind that does create a taxable event because it is selling off the funds that are a little bit higher and purchasing into the funds that are a little bit lower with the targets that you have set right over here. So just something to keep in mind, as enticing as it is for me to, hit that rebalance button. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna wait for the funds to go in. All right, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and add $10 into our portfolio here today. So we're gonna deposit $10 and have that go into the account. Now, what I can do if I really wanted to is have it deposited, and then I can actually just have it all siphoned into the consumer section if I really wanted to. I can also raise and lower all of these different targets so that a majority of it does go into the consumer pie. So one thing I wanted to kind of point out here is after I put in that $10, it kind of gives you this whole thing where it kind of shows you how the 10 bucks is going to get distributed. It's not always exact, of course, but you can check this out right over here. Now, one of the things as I was doing when I was looking through this is actually noticing that Waste Management's gonna get quite a bit of money into that portfolio, and it's a little off screen here, so I gotta slide this up. But Costco and Target, the two new funds we're gonna be adding in today, is not gonna be getting a lot of love. So I wanna make sure that we are, distributing this a little bit more evenly. You can do one of two things. You can deposit money and turn auto investment off, or have it at a higher threshold, and then just manually push it into whatever pie you want. The other thing you can do is hit edit, and then you can go here and I can say, well, I want, industries to be, 2%, and I want consumers to jump up all the way to 18% because we have more funds in that account. So if we hit confirm on here, I'm gonna show you guys how in real time this kind of changes here. So all of a sudden, now our industries is way above their percentage and consumer is way below. So if we go to the portfolio estimates, we can click on here and we can see that actually kind of just changed the second we clicked into it. So now Costco and Target are gonna get a much larger portion of this, as well as Ross and some of the other funds here as well. So this is a lot more of how I'd like that money distributed. I don't need a majority of it to go into Target and Costco, but I would definitely wanted more than what they were offering last time. But a lot of that had to do with the percentage of where our industries was, but it only having one fund in the actual portfolio. If there was more, it wouldn't be as massive. So until I get more companies probably into the industrials portfolio, I'm gonna leave it at 2% as far as the target goes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and leave the consumers closer to 18. I'm kind of liking the investments that are going in there, so I wanna make sure they're getting a healthy portion of the pie. So I'm excited to see how that $10 officially gets distributed. Of course, we had 55 cents actually sitting in the account already, and that was all from our dividends for the most part, which is super exciting. That means we are reinvesting, so that way we can reinvest those dividends and continue to earn more, so down the road, as we talked about earlier, we can have a lot more coming in to actually make an income from these dividends. Now, if you want to see more videos here on the channel, check out some of these videos right over here, and if you made it this far into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.